My name is Connie Svabo. I am a professor and I work with curatorial design of learning. So how do we stage learning? How do we create learning? And I work with how things like clothing can be a part of learning situations. So, for example, working with how a particular kind of lab coat or a costume can actually mediate the experience of an environment. And we work with how to mediate environment in many different ways. One of the things that we have done recently is that we have been at the Ecoliteracy Festival, where we worked with a group of participants in mediating an experience of the forest that was there through particular kinds of clothing. So if you wear orange overalls, for example, or if you wear a particular kind of lab coat, how does that affect your experience of the environment? So, for example, at the workshop, there were some pieces of clothing that had a particular extra strong energy, I would say. And there was an animal costume with a tail that is made by an artist called Catherine Bagnal. And that costume was really something that made it possible for one of the participants to act out a different kind of being in the forest, being in the situation, than his regular clothing did. So we are moving towards understanding how people relate to environment. One of the questions that we inquire into is, how do humans understand environment? And working with clothing as a mediating layer, like clothing becomes an interface, you could say, between people and environment. So it's a very tangible and very embodied way of actually working with how do you understand environment. And the vision is that we work towards becoming part of environments in new ways.